I found this little chunk of flame maple at a woodworking store. It was drastically marked down in price, so I couldn't resist it. I'm going to match this pretty piece up with some beautiful Redheart. The vast majority of this video is edited at real-time speed. So as usual, the first thing I do is true it up by making it round and then start working on the bottom. So I'll do the bottom and outside profile first before I flip it around. And here I'm just cutting the recess or the mortise that I'm going to use for when I reverse mount this and use my 4-jaw chucks in expansion mode to hold this bowl. It's my preferred way of doing it. And you'll see that I've left the center of the recess area a little bit rough. And that's because I'm going to come back at the very end of this project and clean the bottom of this bowl up. Here I'm just cutting a single strip of Redheart. I only need 16 segments. I'm just going to put one segmented ring on the rim of this bowl. Now there's nothing special about this sled at all. It is exactly what you see there. It's got two different angles of 11 1/4. I just move it back and forth and cut all 16 segments without having to flip the wood. And here I'm just making it all level before I tighten up that clamp all the way. Here I'm just sanding. I started at, I believe it was 120 and went up to 220 and then hit the outside with some denatured alcohol to clean it up and raise the grain. And then I went from 220 grit all the way up to, I believe it was 500 this time before I flipped it and reverse mounted. I'm not so worried about the tailstock for support on this because it's a fairly light piece of wood and I know the jaws have a good hold on it. Plus I'm going to be working off the side as you see here. I've pivoted the headstock about 30 degrees out just to give me more access. A little bit easier. I love a pivoting headstock on a lathe. You know what else I love? I love sharp bowl gouges. Oh yeah. Yes, I do. So I got the width of the bowl down to about 3/4 all the way through. Maybe 5/8. And then I sanded the rim flat, getting ready to attach the segmented ring. So I just use a flat piece of wood with 80 grit sandpaper wrapped around it. Mark the rim with a pencil and sand it until all the pencil marks are gone and it's nice and flat. And 80 grit is the perfect grit, I think, for glue ups. And this is just a sanding disc that I have mounted to my faceplate. And I'll take the segmented ring and I forgot to do it there, but I'll put the same pencil marks on one side of it, and then I'll flatten out one side of this segmented ring to attach to the rim of the bowl. Pretty simple process, and if you have a lathe with a faceplate, and I think they all come with a faceplate, that means that you can have a great big disc sander as well. Pretty easy to make. A nice thick coat of glue with a little bit left on the finger, you know, so you can peel it off later because that's fun. But anyways, a nice thick coat of glue, and I use the lathe as a vise or clamp. Make sure it's lined up and then tighten up that tailstock and leave it overnight. And while that dries overnight, let's take a look at what one very special long-term subscriber to my channel has made. Alan Simpson made all of these with a lathe and with a grinder. Alan, I want to say that I really appreciate you. I appreciate what you've done, the contributions you've made as a person. It matters, my friend. Always remember that. And I want to take this time to thank all of my subscribers. 71,000 and growing. Thank you so much. And if you haven't subscribed, well, thanks for watching. all these beautiful shavings are going to get bagged up and used. Even the fine red powder, that's going to get boxed up and used eventually for something. I've made a couple resin shaving projects in the past. One was the tea light holder and another was a bowl. I've got some other things in mind too. My target is about 3/8 of an inch thickness of the wall all the way down to the base. So that's what I'm working on here. Look at those beautiful shavings. You know, I had to bust out the Mike Benjamin tool. I'm still getting to know this tool. It'll take me a while to learn how it works completely. So I'm just being really gentle with it because I have learned already that if you go in too fast with this thing, it's gonna take some meat off of whatever it makes contact with. So just gentle, light passes. Just a pleasure to use. Thanks again, Mike. Look at that grain pop. That is some beautiful figure. That's flame. That belongs on the back of a violin or something. It's so pretty. So once again, I'm cleaning it up and raising the grain with the denatured alcohol, and I like using it because it dries off so quickly. It evaporates really fast. And then I resand at 220 all the way up to 1200 grit. And you'll see this 1200 grit puts a really nice shine on this bowl as is. Isn't that nice? It didn't really need a whole lot else, but I thought OB Shine Juice would be a nice touch. I put about 3 coats of this stuff on. What do you think? Flame Maple and Redheart. They belong together. Now here I've reverse mounted once again, and I'm just using the jumbo jaws to hold the bowl in place with the wine cork jam chuck method once again. And I'm just taking care of the bottom of the bowl. And then I'll finish it just like I did the rest of the bowl. Love that figure. It's got that one little flaw in that one Redheart segment. But I think I'm just going to call that character. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Semper Fi. Well, I'm doing what I'm told, and my wife is being very patient with me. God bless her. Thank you, everybody, for your support.